Hi guys, my name is Andy Cornelius and I'm a junior ministry major at Mid-America.
My name's Joshua Tickham and I'm also a junior ministry major.
Yeah, and so we're in this class called Systematic Theology, and this class is basically giving us this assignment that wants us to combine theological concepts with human practices or cultural constructs. And so in this video we have interviewed 3 different married couples, some with kids and without kids, and we talk about the image of God and humanity inside of their marriage.
Yeah, and something we've been learning is that God is a relational God, and that He is found in the relationship between a husband and wife, parents and kids. So we wanted to explore that a little bit deeper. And we also explored that using Jürgen Moltmann's Trinitarian concept, where there's self-emptying, self-giving, self-submission to the other to allow the other to live fully into their fullest form.
Yeah, absolutely. And going on with the fullest form, I've been reading a lot of Joel Green where he talks about this idea of humanity and this idea of brokenness and almost a rejection of dualism that says the flesh is bad and the soul is good. But in fact, in marriage, we can see a spot where humanity is welcome. The fullest person is welcome inside of the social construct and institution of marriage. And so,
yeah. So our first couple that we interviewed is Jacob Lett and Whitney Lett, along with their son Rowan Lett. And we just kind of explored those questions a little bit deeper. So enjoy their video and the rest of the couples as well.
Absolutely.
Welcome. So our first question for you guys is, what was your expectation of getting married, and did you have any dreams or goals that you were going into it with?
Like right before we were getting married?
Yeah.
I would say...
Baby! I think like traveling together and having a consistent companion, you know, like kind of like your best friend always with you, but more than your best friend.
Absolutely. Okay, we're going to go a little bit deeper with it. What are some times that you've had to compromise with your spouse, and in the first few years of marriage, did that go well? Did it go bad?
Yeah, we compromise all the time. Like I think that's what marriage is.
Mm-hmm.
You both kind of assert what you want or what you think, and then you find this medium ground. Our first huge fight was over Jacob spilled some cranberry juice all over the kitchen floor, and he was
I think I've shared it in
Yeah.
class.
cleaning it up wrong, so I had to help him, and we got into a really big fight. And so I think it took us a while to come back together with that one, but I know as we've grown, we've been able to compromise quicker. Bless you.
We've talked about it a lot in Systematic, of course, but we have this idea of the Trinity as self-giving, self-receiving, this perfect flow of order and balance, and almost this movement. How do you guys see this self-giving, self-receiving, perfect self-receiving as a parallel to your marriage and now parenthood?
I think there's always been throughout a relationship like a giver and a receiver, or a pursuer or withdrawer, and I think it's always happens to work out that one of us is in the place of strength and one of us isn't. Rarely have we both been like a place of weakness where we're both withdrawing. And so, you know, there's been months where maybe Whitney was giving more than I was, but then there's been months where it's vice versa. And so that's really nice because like when you're just an individual, you have to do all the giving yourself.
Yeah.
And now it's like sometimes people make up for your lag or weakness or.
And I would even say at this point, especially with Rowan and his birth, since it was traumatic, we were able to be that for each other. Like when I was like really needing someone to hold on to, Jacob was there, but we could do that back and forth.
And it's kind of intuitive. It's weird. It's
Yeah.
not like I'm like, well, today I'm the giver.
Right.
It's just like I notice she's not in a good place and it's time for me to step up. Or and you just sort of, it's like a dance. You just figure out who's leading.
So some people believe that the image of God is found in relationships and even marriages. So considering that viewpoint, how do you more fully reflect the image of God in your marriage as apart to whenever you weren't in marriage, or even when you're apart from each other within your marriage?
I think that's really a good question. I think in so many ways I think God's in everything you do, and the deeper and deeper you get to things, the more and more you love someone, you can see God more. So the more I love Jacob, the more I learn about God, the more I have to forgive Jacob, the more I learn about forgiveness. And I would say it goes the same way for Rowan, because now he's kind of like become this another part of it where we can understand things to that depth.
Yeah, I think with Rowan, it's made it even deeper, because like with Whitney, sometimes you count the cost, like because we're level on the same playing field. So sometimes it's like, is she giving as much as I am, or am I receiving? So sometimes you start calculating, which is messing the whole image of God thing up. But with Rowan, it's like I don't expect him to give back. I simply give out of pure giving. And I think that's a better reflection of the type of giving God does. It's not like he's counting how much times we've given, how much time we've received so that we have to give back. It just is this pure, like, I love you so much, why would I not give to you type thing. And I think for me, that's helped me see God more than before. It's like, man, and I've said this probably before, if God loves us half as much as I love Rowan, like, we're in really good hands.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I would say something that was a major kind of like breakthrough for me was not only, this is going to sound cliche, but it was actually profound for me. It was realizing how yes, I love Rowan so much, but like even before I even knew about Rowan, God loved him. I was with him, and that like that he doesn't really even need me, but in so many ways I get to kind of be kind of the face of God to Rowan, because I'm providing for his needs, all of those things, but that God chooses to let me do that, not that he needs me to do it.
And it's weird, like, I always thought like God needed me to give something to him, but with Rowan, it's just like simply by existing, he gives to me. Like just by being with me, he's automatically giving me being. Where like God doesn't need us to, what are you doing? I think that God just delights in us as existence, and we don't need to perform in order for him to delight in us.
Kara, why don't you start us off? Who are you? What do you do? And who is your spouse? Hopefully the one around you.
My name is Kara Lindenmeyer. I teach 8th grade math at Monticello Trails Middle School in Shawnee, Kansas. Married to this guy right here.
My name's Chris Lindenmeyer, and I am a residential educator at Mid-American Nazarene, aka a dorm parent, and also a part-time college pastor.
What was your expectation of getting married? Did you guys have any certain dreams or goals that you wanted to accomplish before you met each other, and that changed at the beginning after you guys started dating, and, first year of marriage or so? So what are some of your expectations, I guess?
Sex every day. No, I'm just kidding.
We're posting this, Chris. I guess one of my goals is I wanted to be out of college and have a full-time job before getting married, just because I didn't want the financial stress and then living together and just all of that. So that was one of my goals. One of my expectations was that, oh, now you're together all the time, and so you'll see each other, but you have to be, at least we found our schedules are very different, so you have to be super intentional about carving out time for each other. And
So how do you enable, encourage, and empower the other practically to live fully into the other person's humanity? So Chris, how do you make Kara and empower Kara to be the best Kara that she could be? And same for you, Kara. How do you make Chris the best Chris that he can be?
I think one way is just supporting each other in whatever it may be. I mean, I'm a teacher, so when I have days where I come home and I'm exhausted and kids were kids today, just having him be able to encourage me and let me know, like, hey, yeah, today sucked, but there's a reason why you're doing this and you're great at what you do, or just those little things here and there.
You have to like speak the other person's language, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And not only like love language, the five-fold language or whatever, but you have to be able to like be in tune with what is going on in their lives and what they're actually saying to you, even if they're not actually saying that to you, if that makes sense. So like, if there's times where she's frustrated or in a fight, or she's maybe she called me out for something like that, instead of me getting mad and responding in a nasty way back to her, being able to actually like understand what she is actually saying in those comments. I mean, another thing is understanding what she likes. And so she likes little gifts. And so when I pick her up from the airport, I want to get her a little gift, a little flowers and a Starbucks gift card. Like those practical things where I can encourage her by doing what she really likes and by what she really appreciates. And I know that. And so, and we're still learning that about each other, I think, too. But yeah, I think that's one tangible way that we kind of encourage each other.
Brady, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yep, my name is Brady Bratz, and I'm the university chaplain.
Teresa.
My name is Teresa Bratz, and I'm a labor and delivery nurse and a homeschool teacher and a mama.
Darby, who are you?
I'm Darby, and I'm here in my pajamas to look good.
Amen, girl.
Alright, so going a little bit deeper, what was your expectation of getting married, and did you have any dreams and goals going into it?
Oh yeah, I had a lot of expectations, and I think that is part of what held up the progression of the relationship probably for a long time. Was I went in thinking like, here's the standard, bam bam bam, long list. If you don't meet any of these criteria, go ahead and work on those, come back to me. So some examples would be like that we would be financially completely on the same page. So we were going to hash out everything about how we were going to manage our money. That was really important to me. And we had grown up with two different ways of thinking about money. And so that created some conflict. So it was to resolve that. That was one of my expectations.
I think you had a lot of expectations about just what a husband should be like, and that was part of the checklist, was like me having to get some hurdles of like, okay, I better step it up. And ultimately, I think the Lord helped you to like not just carry those around the whole time, but kind of resolve them and discover like it's okay. People are gonna grow and develop and change.
Well, and I really feel like God helped me to see that you're bringing yourself as an imperfect person, and so to try to perfect this person before you commit is really not love. And so I feel like God helped me to see that I can see those things, and I'm really hard on myself, so I was really hard on the relationship, and so to just have grace for that. And I think that's what's neat about being married a long time, is that I can look back now and think like, all these things that I thought I needed and I thought I wanted, there were so many things that he is that I didn't even know to put on the list. You don't know when you're 20 and 21 everything that you need and how you need to be loved and what's going to be required to love the hard parts of you.
Something that we've been studying in our systematic theology class is how we can find the image of God here on earth. And one of the viewpoints is that the image of God is found in relationships, in that movement between people, between a marriage, between parents and kids. So how do you see that in your own marriage, in your own family relationships? And how do you more fully reflect the image of God when you're together as a couple, as a family, rather than when you're apart?
I think the image of God is seen in the other and reflected back to us when we participate in forgiveness, when we participate in encouragement. I mean, you talked about self-giving love. I mean, that story is a nice acute version of what happens back and forth all the time, and it's not in this large or extreme ways at times, but it's certainly just a big version of what has to happen on a daily basis.
We have one last question for you guys. Who wears the pants in the relationship?
I wear the capris in this one.
Nice. Well, one final question. Who wears the pants in the relationship?
Yeah.
Part of that's just personality, though. Like he said, I'm
Hey.
organized, I'm a planner.
I'm okay with it.
And then last question, who wears the pants in the relationship?
Whitney.
Good answer.
We both do about different issues.
Yeah, we have our
Yeah.
our points, and we both kind of know, like, well, that's his point or that's her
Right.
point. So
Like I respect. We both expect it's mutual. You know, it really is. And sometimes we let each other take the lead in different areas, but
Yeah.